For some people, AI agents just got 50 times more expensive overnight. And if you use Claude to power your business automations, I'm going to break down exactly what this means for your wallet later in the video. Plus, North Korea hijacked one of the most popular code libraries on the entire web. And your business might be using it right now. Google quietly launched something that's actually useful for a change. This is your weekly AI news roundup. Let me break it all down. Welcome to AI in Business channel. My name is James Anderson and this is your weekly AI news roundup. Every week I condense the biggest AI stories into what actually matters for your business. No jargon, no hype, just what you need to know. Let's get into it. First up, Google quietly released a new AI dictation app called Google AI Edge Eloquent. What an eloquent name. And this one is actually worth your attention. It launched on iOS last week, completely free, and here is the key part. It works completely offline. Ideal. So once you download the speech recognition models on your phone, you can dictate text without an internet connection. That matters if you're traveling, on site, or working somewhere with rubbish signal, which is actually a lot of the UK. The clever bit is what happens after you've finished speaking. It automatically filters out all your ums, your ahs, mid-sentence corrections. Obviously, I never do any of them on this channel. It polishes your ramble into clean, professional text. Then you can transform it into different formats. So key points for a quick summary. Formal for client communications, short or long depending on what you need. It can even pull keywords and jargon from your Gmail, so it recognizes your business specific terms. Interesting. If you spend a lot of time typing emails, notes or reports, this could save you hours each week. It's free, it works offline and nothing leaves your device, so it's nice, safe and secure, which is what we like on this channel. The app is iOS only for now. But if you've got an iPhone, download it and give it a test on things like sales notes, customer follow-ups, or meeting summaries. On-device AI that does not send your data to the cloud is exactly what a lot of businesses need. Okay, a quick one before I get into the next story. If you're finding this channel useful, please hit the subscribe button because I break down the latest news every single week and I don't want you to miss the important ones. And I'm curious, are you actually using AI agents in your business right now? Drop it in the comments down below because what I'm going to tell you later in this video could save you a serious amount of money. Meta Muse Spark back in the game. Now this one's an interesting one from a competitive perspective. Meta announced Muse Spark, the first major AI model since the Llama 4 disappointment last year, and the benchmark suggests it's actually competitive with the learning models from OpenAI, Anthropic and Google. Muse Spark is Meta's first reasoning model, meaning it works through problems step by step and adjusts the strategy if the initial approach fails. It handles text and images and it can orchestrate multiple tools. Meta says it is particularly good at medical advice, having trained on data curated over 1,000 physicians, which is quite new. The company scored 52 on the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index, placing it in the top 5 models benchmarked. That is a significant jump from Llama 4, which was widely considered a failure. Now here's why it matters to your business. If you use Meta platforms for marketing or customer engagement, AI features are coming to those tools automatically. Meta is integrating this directly into WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook and Messenger. More competition in the AI space generally means better options and potentially lower costs for business, which is what we like. Meta rebuilt their entire AI stack in 9 months, achieving the same capabilities with significantly less compute. That means cheaper, faster AI development going forwards. North Korea hijacks Axios. The next story is a bit of a wake-up call for any business that uses web-based software, and that is probably most of you. North Korean hackers successfully hijacked the Axios project, one of the most widely used open source JavaScript libraries on the entire internet. It gets downloaded tens to over 100 million times every week. It's quite a wide spectrum. Developers use Axios to connect apps to the internet, which means if you run any web-based tools, a CRM, an internal dashboard, or anything that talks to a server, there is a good chance Axios is in there somewhere. So how did it happen? The hackers spent about 2 weeks building trust with the maintainer. They posed as a real company, created a fake Slack workspace, and used fake employee profiles, and then invited him to download a meeting that prompted him to download malware. Once they had remote access to his computer, they pushed malicious updates to the code repository. The malicious versions were live for about 3 hours before being detected. Anyone who downloaded during that window may have had their systems compromised, potentially leaking private keys, credentials, and passwords. Google's threat intelligence group attributed this to North Korea hacking team that stole at least $2 billion in crypto last year alone. They targeted open source projects because one compromise can reach millions of devices worldwide. So here's what you should do. If you work with developers, make sure they are pinning library versions and testing updates in a staging environment before pushing to production. And if you want more information about hiring a developer, please check out my other video below on hiring AI developers, and it'll give you a bit of a guide so all that sort of stuff makes sense. Also, use tools like npm audit to scan for vulnerabilities. The malicious versions have been rolled back, so update to the safe releases. This is exactly the kind of supply chain attack we have seen before with Log4j and UX-utils, and it's not slowing down. Claude Code leak now packaged with malware. Now this story is a perfect example of why the supply chain security issue matters. Remember last week when I told you Anthropic accidentally leaked their entire source code for Claude Code? If you didn't, check out the episode here. Hackers immediately started posting fake versions with bonus malware included. How kind of them. What happened is that the leaked code spread rapidly on GitHub, hitting 50,000 stars in 2 hours. Hackers created fake repositories posing as leaked Claude Code downloads. Those archives contained actual malware, including an information stealer called VDAR and a traffic redirector, Ghost Socks. Nice name, actually. Researchers found multiple malicious uploads specifically targeting developers and AI researchers who might be eager to get their hands on the code. If a developer in your company downloaded one of these fake repos, they could have compromised your corporate network. The lesson is clear. Even trusted AI tools expose businesses to risks through their dependencies. When briefing your team on AI projects, make sure they verify sources before downloading anything. One infected machine could leak customer data or IP, or even worse. The irony here is that the hackers are actually exploiting people's curiosity about AI to hack their systems. Mental. Quick hits now. Tubi became the first major streaming service to launch a native app inside ChatGPT. Wow! You can install it from ChatGPT App Store and type @Tubi to get movie and TV recommendations using natural language. For most business owners, this isn't really directly relevant, but it does signal a shift. Platforms are embedding AI experiences directly into where users already look for answers. If you're in content, media, or e-commerce, this model of AI-powered discovery inside chat platforms is definitely worth watching. The US Army is building its own chatbot called Victor. That's not a very military American name in my eyes. It should be called like Chad or Tucker or something like that. And it's trained on military data from missions including the Ukraine conflict. It helps soldiers surface information like how to configure electromagnetic warfare systems, and it cites its sources to reduce errors. Interesting as an example of custom AI on internal data, which is basically what I recommend businesses doing. If you're new to the channel, build your own tools on your own data. Microsoft launched 3 in-house AI models this week. My Transcribe for speech recognition, My Voice for voice generation, and My Image for image creation. This is the clearest signal yet that the $3 trillion company intends to compete directly with OpenAI and Google on model development. This is not just distribution. More competition generally means better pricing and more options for business. Winner. And Google DeepMind released Gemma 4, their most capable open models to date. The 31 billion model ranks number 3 on Arena AI text leaderboard and outperforms models 20 times its size. It's released under Apache 2.0, which means commercially permissive. Developers can download, modify, and deploy it without restriction. The Edge model can run everything from phones to personal computers. If data privacy is your concern for your business, running open models on your own hardware is an increasingly viable option. And this is what we talk about on the channel, and this is what we believe the future is for businesses. Having something online on a server or your own AI machine, which is running open source language models and keeping your data in your business. Ones to watch: Project Glasswing. Sounds like a conservatory. For my one to watch this week, Anthropic announced Project Glasswing. Not only does it have a cool name, but it's a cybersecurity initiative pairing an unreleased AI model called Claude Mythos with 12 major tech and finance companies, including Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, JP Morgan Chase. The model is specifically designed to find software vulnerabilities, and Anthropic says it's too dangerous to release publicly because it can autonomously discover, exploit, and chain multiple security flaws without human supervision. Not sure if this is good or bad yet by the sounds of it. Instead of releasing it, they're actually using it defensively, scanning and patching critical infrastructure before criminals find the same holes. What makes this worth watching is what it signals. Even the companies building the most powerful AI acknowledge that some capabilities are too risky to release openly. If you're handing over operations to AI tools, that should give you pause. The gap between what AI can do and what is safe to deploy is getting wider, not smaller. Now, next is the story mentioned at the start of the episode, and it's the biggest practical concern for business owners this week who are running agents. Starting April the 4th, Anthropic blocked Claude Pro and Max subscribers from using their subscription quotas with third-party AI agent frameworks like OpenClaw. If you were using a £20 a month Claude Pro subscription to power automation tools, that option is now gone. Anthropic says subscriptions were not built for the usage patterns of third-party tools, and they are focusing users to switch to pay-as-you-go API billing. The problem is that API pricing can be dramatically more expensive. Some users are reporting costs of up to 50 times the previous monthly spend. That's not a typo. 50 times. Now, it's well known that Claude makes their money from the API models. They don't make as much from the monthly subscriptions. Monthly subscriptions for business are great for recurring revenue and ARR numbers and fundraising and all these fantastic things that software companies do. But actually, the profit margins of doing that are not as big as what they're making off the API. Anthropic makes most of its money from the APIs because it is more expensive. So obviously this was always going to happen, and they've basically closed the door now for running your OpenClaw for £20 a month. But don't worry, if you are running tools like that, have a look at my last episode about my tech stack and have a look on OpenRouter, because this is the best platform. You can plug in an API into whatever you're using. OpenClaw or Hermes is another new one, which I'm playing about with as well. Plug your OpenRouter API, you can play about with models, you can even use Claude API on there if you want, or you can use cheaper models like GLM 5.1's just been launched, Minimax 2.5 or 2.7 is the new one. You can use all these different ones which are a lot cheaper, like significantly cheaper than using the Claude API. Or alternatively, you can also use an open source model on your own hardware, which is absolutely what I would recommend if you're going to use AI agents. So this is what it means for your business. If your team is using Claude-powered agents for automation, customer service, data analysis, or workflows through OpenClaw, expect immediate budget shocks. Fixed subscriptions no longer cover high-volume agent runs. You are now on variable costs that scale with usage. Businesses that were testing AI agents cheaply may now need to rethink their tools or negotiate direct API deals or use software like OpenRouter. The honest assessment is somewhere in between a revenue grab and sensible capacity management, but the practical advice is clear. Review your AI tools spending now. Calculate what the new pricing looks like. You might need to switch tools, negotiate a direct deal, or just absorb the costs. This is exactly the kind of thing that catches a business owner off guard if you're not paying attention. by subscribing to this channel. So the distilled takeaway for this week: AI tools are getting more capable, but they are also getting more expensive and more risky. What a great combination. The North Korean Axios hack, the Claude Code malware, and the Anthropic pricing change all point in the same direction. You need to know where your data goes, what your tools actually cost, and who controls the infrastructure you are building on. The businesses that will win are the ones that start simple, keep humans in the loop, and read the fine print. So if this episode was useful, please subscribe, because I break this down every single week. I've got explainer videos going deeper into specific tools and trends that actually matter for your business. I'm a business owner and I'm trying to break down the tools that you can use for your business. The core purpose of this channel stays the same, helping you as a business owner increase your AI literacy so you can use it as an advantage. No hype, no jargon, just what you need to know. See you next week.